Well, ladies and gents, hopefully we're having a beautiful day today. Today, me and one of my buddies are going out on a pheasant hunt, going to one of my favorite spots. Should be a pretty good day. Hopefully we get in there, see some birds real quick, get a quick limit. But after the hunt, so long as we get some birds, I'm going to show you how I like to clean my pheasants, and then afterwards I'll show you how I cook them. But I'll keep the talk short. I'll see you guys out in some pheasant country. That's so funny. They're always down here. See where this guy went, but he's following the trail all the way up here. I saw him stay on the sand pit, or the sand trail. That was a smart bird. Got the hell out of here. Damn. You go in the woods at all? You go in the woods at all? Get him. There we go, baby. There's another one. Oh, let's go. Yes, that was absolutely huge. Yes, dude. I need to find that other one. I'm not sure where it went. Definitely killed it. Where is this bird? I need to find my other bird. I'm trying to remember. One of them I hit on the ground, the other one flush, and I shot it like, I almost thought it was over the water, but I didn't see it. I think it landed in that marsh grass down there, but I was walking through here. I could just hear him running through this, and I saw one's head go by, and I was like, I knew they had seen me, but I just like crept up, and I got close enough, and then first shot I missed, second shot I hit down there, and the third one sat there, so I just hit it. Got him? Yes! Holy, I didn't think he went that far. Not gonna lie, this might be the one you saw that I also saw.
That's a big one.
Well, I'll be your dog. This one either got stalked a while ago or something. It doesn't smell like bird. That's my first 2 rooster limit, I think. I'm gonna take a picture of them on this rock before they go into rigor mortis. Apparently if you hold them by the bottom beak and it doesn't break, they're 2 years old. This one breaks. Oh yeah, it's an old bird right there.
Bigger he is.
I know, right? We're gonna have a diabolical thumbnail. Let me get B-roll. I got my 2 pheasant limit, both of them are roosters. It's pretty rough out there. I don't think they'd stalked it since the weekend, and usually the weekend is when the most pheasants get killed since that's when the most people are out. But managed to find these 2 after about an hour. Looking for another hour after that, probably. Found one other rooster from my buddy that was out there, but that one was a little wiser. Anyways, I got these 2 roosters on the table, along with a duck that I got this morning, but I'm gonna show you how I like to clean my pheasants. Now I like to have a plastic bag ready for the meat, have your knife, and have some sort of trash bag if you're in an area that you need to throw your stuff out. If you're doing this in the woods or something, even better, saying you don't need to worry about feathers or anything. You just chuck everything to the side. But first thing I do, spread the legs apart a little, lay it down so its stomach is facing up, and take some of these feathers from the middle, start to pluck them out. You don't need to pluck too many right now. You kind of need to get access to that skin right under them. Now you can do the work and pluck all of this off and keep the skin on the meat. I find with some of these stock pheasants that the skin's just too thin. It doesn't really make a difference anyway, and it rips right off when you're plucking the feathers. I just don't think it's worth it. I keep it on ducks, but I don't do it on pheasants. Now you can see, kind of expose the breast meat a bit there, pluck enough off. You kind of get your finger under the skin, and you can pull that skin right away from the breast meat. Now, got that nice and exposed. You can see all of the breast right there. And you take your knife, you got this bone right down the middle right here. Cut right down into that. Just follow right along that bone. Come right down along the meat, and you'll find where the breast meets this little bone in the other part of the pheasant right here. That's where you want to poke your knife right through. Right there. You see where that comes right off. Then if you just pinch that upward, use some light knife pressure, just keep sliding it right along this meat, following the bone going up. You'll get all the way up to the collarbone up here. Just keep peeling, slicing, going upwards. Eventually, you'll get to a point up here where you can't really go up anymore. It's just the bone. And from there, I'll go to the bottom of this breast meat and cut straight up it. Now make sure you take your tenderloin with that breast meat. Tenderloin is a little strip of meat that's right under your breast, attached to the inside right here. That's pretty simple, it's just your breast meat. I'll just get the other side. Chuck these in your bag so they don't get all dirty while you're getting the other end. Now, some people will just be done right now, throw that whole bird away. And that's okay if you like to do that, but I like to get a little bit extra off of these pheasants and peel the skin off the legs here. Now, if you take your knife and go right along the crease right here where that thigh meat is, go up along right where you ended that breast meat. You'll get to this point right here. And if you just pull that enough and twist it down, you'll see that bone will pop right out. And from there, make sure all your feathers are off of it. Twist that bone out, cut right under it. Take that leg right off. Then right here, I'll pull this hide down a little bit, skin. I'll snap the bone right there. Then if you just get your knife between that bone and the stuff you just snapped it off from, it's gonna be a tendon to cut through. If I could just get through it, there you go. Now you have an entire chicken thigh right there. Well, pheasant thigh, but pheasants are pretty much chickens anyway, so. Just a little bit extra meat that you get off those things that I like to take off. Depending on how you shoot them, it might be too bloodshot to salvage, and that's okay, it happens. But if you get a nice pheasant that you hit in the head, I always think it's good to take as much meat as you can off them. And that's it. All you're really left with on this is the head and the rest of what's inside of its stomach area. Then you got all that meat off of just one bird. Usually good for me for about one meal. Each bird is about a meal for me. You could probably stretch it out to two, but that's really all it is for a pheasant. They're pretty quick. They're kind of like a fragile bird, so it's easy to just kind of tear apart real quick and cut it all off. One other way you could do it if you really wanted to, if you get a nice headshot bird, kind of like this, that nothing really hit from the neck down, there's no pellets, you can take the skin off of this whole thing and then cut the neck off and gut the inside, take all the internals out. And then you can kind of just have an entire chicken pretty much. Then you can throw it in the oven. It's almost like those rotisserie chickens you get at the grocery store, but it's a pheasant. Now once you have your whole bird cut up, we can move on to the kitchen. You got a couple different options. You can either grill it, pan fry it, or bake it. But I'm gonna show you guys what I like to do. Now, once you have everything laid out in front of you, I like to inspect the meat a bit. Make sure there's no pellets or feathers or anything on it. See, like this stuff has a bit of feathers left on it. Just clean that off before you do anything else. You can see right here. That's a pellet right there. That's not something you want to be chewing on, or else you're gonna end up with a broken tooth. It's pretty cool when you find those though. Like, that's what comes out of your shotgun. Once you got everything cleaned off and you know there's no pellets in your meat, go ahead and season it. I use this stuff, it's Chupacabra, but really any type of seasoning blend will work. If you want to just do salt, pepper, garlic powder, that works fantastic for any type of meat. But I'm just a fan of this stuff, so this is what I use. Now just get all your pieces of meat lined up. You don't want to over season it. That's pretty much all you want on one piece of meat. That's about the perfect amount of seasoning. You don't want any more, any less. And from here, just flip everything over, season the other side. Then after you have both sides seasoned, I usually let this sit 10-15 minutes, let the seasoning really soak into the meat. And while you let this sit here, I like to put some butter and oil into the pan. Let that heat up and melt. Usually by the time all that's melted and heated up, this is about ready to go into the pan anyway. Now once your butter's starting to bubble like this, you can take your pan and just kind of spread everything around. Cover that whole pan with butter and oil. You'll know it's ready because as you spread it, it'll be sizzling. Now let that sit for another 30 seconds, 1 minute. Let everything warm up really nice. Then after you wait for a little bit, you're ready to put this in. You should start sizzling just like that as you put it in. Now you don't want to crowd your pan too much. This is probably the most I'd put in at one time. You want to make sure each piece of meat has a little bit of room around the entire edge. It's going to just give that a better crust on the bottom of it. And it's going to make sure it all cooks evenly. But after putting this in, you're going to want to let it sit for about 4 minutes on this side. And then after that 4 minutes is up, you're going to flip it over to the other. Now after that 4 minutes has passed, you start flipping these over. You can see it's got a nice crust on the bottom. It's pretty much how you want it to look, nice golden brown. Now after you flip these over, you're gonna wanna let them cook for about another 4 minutes on the other side. And I should mention I'm cooking this at about a medium-high heat. If you have a numbered dial on your stove, I cook it at about a 6 or a 7. Now, once the 4 minutes is up, check the other side, has the same amount of crust on it. You want it to both look the same on each side. Take these out, put them on your plate. Now, as much as you want to dig in right when you take these off, A, you're going to want to let them cool down so you don't burn the inside of your mouth, and B, you want to give it about 4 to 5 minutes just resting on the plate. That's going to keep the entire breast and thigh moist through the whole thing. If you cut it open right away, all the juice is going to flow out and you're going to have a pretty dry piece of meat. Now you can see after letting that rest, when you cut into it, super moist meat. Always important to let any type of meat you cook rest for a little bit. It's fantastic every time. I cook it like that every single time I get a pheasant. I've tried plucking the whole bird and roasting the whole thing, just like the entire bird in the oven. That was pretty good, but pheasants don't really have a ton of fat on them. So if you do it like that, you get a sort of dry meat. I always think if you have any type of game animal that's lean, you want to cook it with some type of fat like butter or oil. It'll keep that meat nice and moist and tender. And you just can't really go wrong with pan frying. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Definitely have a lot of fun making this type of content. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I like making it. If you did like this video, make sure to leave me a like. Helps me out a lot and helps YouTube push out my videos. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Keep up with all the hunting seasons and fishing that I do. And I will be seeing you guys on the next one.